August 2012, with plenty happening in the region. Indeed, a sad day for the region with the death of President Meles Zenawi.
Indeed, we have details of that in this bulletin, as well as why your salary might just decrease if a proposal to get 6% of your salary to go to the NSSF goes through. You want details of that? Stay tuned to KTN, but first here's a look at the highlights.
No salary hike for teachers, Finance Minister says.
NSSF contributions to go up in new proposals.
President orders probe on Olympics team performance.
And still on KTN Prime, world leaders mourn Meles Zenawi.
Good evening, I'm Michael Oyer.
And I'm Edith Kimani.
Well, if you're employed in the formal sector, you should expect an increase in your monthly contributions to the National Social Security Fund, NSSF. A new bill seeks to increase contributions to NSSF to 12%, that is 6% from the employer and 6% from the employee.
From the current fixed contribution, that is of 400 shillings, that is 200 shillings from the employee and 200 shillings from the employer. NSSF says the new measures have been inspired by the desire to transform it from a provident fund to a pension scheme.
The maximum monthly contributions to NSSF currently stand at 400 shillings, which according to NSSF is less than 1.2% of national average earnings. NSSF is proposing a new scheme that will see monthly contributions shoot to 12% of the basic salary. Under this arrangement, employers will contribute 6% of employees' basic salary, while employees will pay 6% of the same to NSSF every month. The bill seeks to transform NSSF into a public mandatory social security scheme covering all employees in the formal sector and a voluntary scheme for the self-employed and workers in the informal sector. However, we have employers who already operate pension schemes for staff under the Retirement Benefits Authority terms. Here, employers deduct from employees 7.5% of the basic salary every month, while the employee contributes 7.5% of the basic pay. Such employers might resist joining the new scheme because it could increase employment costs, besides reducing disposable income for their employees.
It is not contributions going to NSSF or the government of Kenya. It is only asking or encouraging people to save for tomorrow.
We are supporting this bill. We want during your retirement or in your retirement age to have something that you can lean on.
The NSSF Bill 2012 says employers who operate existing retirement benefits arrangements may, with the consent of their employees, contract out of the NSSF, provided that they participate in or establish a pension scheme which meets a reference scheme test. Some of the carrots NSSF is dangling under the new pension scheme include a regular retirement pension to members who attain a pensionable age or opt for early retirement after attaining 50 years. Other benefits include invalidity pension, survivor's benefit, funeral grant and immigration benefit, where members who move to other countries will have their benefits secured and exported. NSSF also will be seeking to in future include other benefits like maternity grant and unemployment advance, where one can queue for monthly stipend to cushion against job loss. Those in self-employment or informal sector will join NSSF under its Provident Fund with contributions pegged at 400 shillings each month. In order to reduce impact on employment costs or disposable incomes of workers, NSSF says the increase on contributions will be phased in over a period of 5 years from the commencement date of the new pension fund. Patrick Amimo, KTN.
And that story leads us to tonight's big question, which we ask you whether you support this proposal to contribute a complete 12% of your salary to NSSF towards your pension.
Or send us your brief comments beginning with a yes or no to our SMS number, that's 8040, and we will sample some of your comments at the end of this live newscast.
Indeed. Kenyans should brace themselves for what teachers have termed the mother of all strikes from the 3rd of September.
This is after Finance Minister Njeru Githai told off teachers over their demands for a 300% pay increase and asked them to wait for the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to harmonize salaries for public servants.
Well, the Kenya Union of Teachers reacted quickly to the Finance Minister, saying the strike is definitely on. KTN Noah Otieno reports.
The government and the Kenya National Union of Teachers have dug in for a major showdown. The Finance Minister has ruled out a pay increase for the teachers, at least for the time being.
There are some sectors who got away with a lot of resource allocation through tantrums, being very vocal, making so much noise, until almost becoming a nuisance, until other people say, give them what they want. We are now saying those days are gone.
The teachers have demanded an immediate return to the table to negotiate a 300% pay rise, as well as the fulfillment by the government of the 1997 pay deal with teachers. Otherwise, they would down their tools on September 3rd, effectively paralyzing the third school term.
That somehow ministers think that Treasury has some money hidden somewhere. I've been looking for that hidden resource, and I've not come across it in Treasury.
Reacting to Githai's statements, the Kenya National Union of Teachers Secretary General David Okuta told KTN that the Finance Minister should stop misleading teachers. He insists that teachers are not state officers and therefore they do not need to wait for the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to set their pay as stated by Githai.
We now need to be objective. We don't need to prioritize. Funding based on how vocal you are in your presentations are over.
But Githai seems to be basing his position on the provisions of Section 230, Part 4.1 of the Constitution, which gives the Salaries and Remuneration Commission the function of advising the national and county governments on the remuneration of all other public officers who are not state officers. The Union of Teachers, however, says they will have none of that and will continue with their strike from the 3rd of next month because they have a right to negotiate with their employer and a constitutional right to go on strike.
With effect from the 3rd of September 2012, the classrooms in Kenya, all classrooms, will be empty of teachers.
For now, it seems that parents and school children expecting the reopening of schools in the next 2 weeks will be caught right in the center of this standoff. Noah Otieno, KTN.
Lack of quorum in Parliament overshadowed the second reading of the controversial Integrity Bill. Despite that, legislators still took about 10 minutes to debate the bill. Minister for Roads Amos Kimunya pointed out that leaders have the right to own limited companies as stipulated in the proposed bill, while Kisumu Town East Representative Shakil Shabir was not satisfied that it will not weaken integrity in leadership. The debate was interrupted by Deputy Speaker Farah Malim and adjourned to tomorrow morning.
The controversial Integrity Bill was on the floor of the House for a second reading, followed by a short debate between Minister for Transport Amos Kimunya and Kisumu East Town legislator Shakil Shabir. Kimunya seemed to see no dilemma with state officers owning and running private companies. Shakil, on the other hand, was of a different view.
By application of the law, you are saying any public servant, any state officer, or their relatives or friends should not engage in any gainful employment. That's the draconian law that CIC would like us to pass. And you're basically saying that you're criminalizing business by assuming that any state officer is criminal unless proved otherwise by engaging in business.
No. If you're a state officer, you must remain a state officer. You cannot then go and hide behind limited companies. That had been the problem.
Kimunya took issue with those against the bill in its current state, claiming critics are asking for too much.
This is the best leadership and integrity bill that will be presented in the House. But obviously, people must play to the galleries, people must appear, to be whiter than white. And that is what is causing the biggest problem in this country.
Earlier on Tuesday morning, the Attorney General Githu Muigai made a similar comment to that of Kimunya, however in a more diplomatic manner.
The responsibility to act in an ethical and professional and dignified manner, the responsibility to do justice and to do equity and to be fair and to seek the welfare of all people is not for government alone.
Speaking during the Judicial March week, he was keen to note that Kenyans and especially the civil society must uphold the same ethical standards as those they ask of leaders.
The citizenry itself must improve on its socio, ethical and moral standards.
The parliamentary debate on the bill will continue on Wednesday morning. Catherine Omwando, KTN.
Chief Justice Willie Mutunga has warned leaders who assume they're above the law, saying that no one is above the law and leaders can no longer disregard or disobey court orders as they please. Speaking during the launch of the Judiciary March Week, the Chief Justice and the Attorney General Githu Muigai said that the Constitution must be obeyed to the letter, adding that the days when leaders or privileged Kenyans would use the judiciary to their own advantage are long gone.
There cannot be a rule of law in any country if every citizen reserves for himself the right to choose what orders of the courts they will obey and which ones they will obey. They will not obey.
The actions of all state officers must demonstrate respect for the people. One cannot serve the public by offending it. Public service is not an entitlement. Our actions must promote public confidence in the integrity of the offices we hold. Our decisions must be objective and impartial.
With only 2 days to enact at least 8 pieces of legislation due on the 27th of August, Justice Minister Eugene Wamalwa says the timelines for the Constitution implementation process are too ambitious to be realized. Nonetheless, the Justice Minister has ruled out an extension of the enactment period for the pending bills, saying Parliament will sit extra hours to pass the laws within the set time.
Faced with yet another acid test to pass 8 pieces of legislation in record 2 days, Justice Minister Eugene Wamalwa expressed the executive's frustration in meeting the constitutionally set implementation timelines. Eugene says Schedule 5 of the Constitution that bears strict deadlines of passage of laws to anchor the Constitution is too ambitious to allow for the passage of the bills. In essence, lifting a lead into the slow churning of bills from Cabinet to Parliament.
The 5th schedule by itself is a very ambitious schedule. And looking at the number of pieces of legislation that must be passed within those, they are very tight timelines. I must say they were ambitious.
The Justice Minister, however, ruled out extension of the August 27th deadline on pending bills by 1 year, despite the clock running down. Wamalwa says Parliament will sit extraordinary hours to legislate on the bills, warning that rushing of the process may lead to laws that fail the constitutional threshold.
We've done it before, we can do it again. All we're asking for is for Kenyans to give us support and to have a little faith in the ability of the elected leaders to discharge their mandate.
Government should be much more sensitive and should be able to arrange themselves and manage their own affairs so that Parliament can have adequate, sufficient and quality time to debate those bills.
Bills awaiting enactment in the National Assembly include Leadership and Integrity Bill, Kenya Defence Forces Bill, National Intelligence Service Bill, National Security Council Bill, Assumption of Office of President Bill, Petition to Parliament Bill and the Campaign Finance Bill, all critical in the forthcoming general election. On Tuesday, the Parliamentary Committee on the Implementation of the Constitution held a day-long meeting to effect amendments on the contentious Leadership and Integrity Bill. But the Justice Minister says deletion of various clauses from the Leadership and Integrity Bill was pegged on the practicability of the provisions. So far, Parliament has run down the clock twice, extending the timelines of the Land and Devolution and the Public Finance Management Bills, respectively, after failing to meet Schedule 5 deadlines. Samogina, KTN Prime.
Well, elsewhere, Ethiopia's government has insisted that the country is stable following the death of long-time Prime Minister Meles Zenawi at the age of 57. Zenawi died at a hospital in the Belgian capital, Brussels, yesterday after a long illness. Now, his body is being flown back to the Ethiopian capital, that's Addis Ababa, and a period of national mourning has been announced. Now, Kenya's President Mwai Kibaki, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and former President Daniel Arap Moi are among world leaders who have eulogized the former Ethiopian Prime Minister as a visionary leader. KTN's Asha Mwilu brings us the details.
By early Tuesday morning, world news headlines were buzzing with updates of the death of Ethiopia's Prime Minister Meles Zenawi, ending speculation of the 57-year-old state of health. By afternoon, the European Commission had confirmed that Zenawi died in the Belgium capital, Brussels, Monday night of an undisclosed infection. Throughout his 2-month absence from the public, the Ethiopian government kept all information on his health closely guarded and would not disclose where the Prime Minister was being treated and what illness he was suffering. Born Legese Zenawi in 1955, he later changed his name to Meles in honor of a revolutionary who was executed by the previous government in 1975. In the same year, he would interrupt his studies at the Addis Ababa University to join the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, a struggling armed group under the then-dictator Mengistu Haile Mariam. A former guerrilla leader, Zenawi then drew inspiration from the deplorable state of Ethiopia and then led the ousting of the Mengistu regime in 1991. Termed the man behind Ethiopia's renaissance, Zenawi initiated policies and strategies that led to the rapid growth of the country's economy. And though a neighbor to volatile nations, Ethiopia has remained a peaceful nation, with Zenawi receiving accolades for sending Ethiopian troops to Somalia to battle the Al-Shabaab alongside AMISOM and the Kenyan Defense Forces. But Zenawi also suffered a fair share of low blows. In 2005, his government was on the spot after more than 200 people were killed when security forces cracked down on demonstrations after an election he was accused of rigging. For now, tributes from world leaders continue to pour in as the world sets its eyes on Ethiopia post-Meles Zenawi. Kenya's former President Daniel Arap Moi recalled the close working relations he had with Zenawi under IGAD and expressed hope that his successor would continue to consolidate peace in the region. President Kibaki called Zenawi a visionary leader, adding that his death is a devastating loss. Zenawi's body is expected back in the country as the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn takes over as the acting head of government. Asha Mwilu, KTN in Nairobi.
The Standard Group board has appointed a new chief executive officer. Sam Shalom is set to officially join the company next month and was introduced to the staff by outgoing deputy chairman and chief executive officer Paul Melly.
Outgoing Standard Group Deputy Chairman and CEO Paul Melly welcomed the new Group Chief Executive Sam Sholay and introduced him to the employees. Sholay is set to take over fully as Chief Executive next month. Prior to his appointment to the Standard Group, Sholay, who has an MBA from the University of Nairobi, held managerial positions in various companies. He is not new to the media, having held the position of General Manager of Monitor Newspapers in Uganda and later the position of Managing Director at Mwananchi Communications Limited in Tanzania. Sholay expressed confidence that the company was poised to grow from strength to strength.
My contribution will come from really being a facilitator for you guys to do the things that you are engaged professionally to do. So mine is to make sure that those things that you feel are going to work and to add value to our business, you are able to do them with the least possible stress. If it has been good, together we will make it great. If it has been not so good, together we will make it great.
Outgoing Deputy Chairman Paul Melly advised journalists to take advantage of new technology and the infrastructure already in place at the company to come up with superior products and wish the company well as it embarks on a new chapter.
When I look back myself, I look back with some pride. I'm happy. I'm very happy. Even if you look at my face, we are now a multimedia house. you are not a multimedia house. So the goodwill you have with your audiences is because you've always stayed in the side of defending public interests.
Paul Melly has been with the company for 8 years. Wilkerson Abwa, KTN Prime.
And just before we go into the break, do you support the proposed NSSF reforms that could increase your contributions by 12%? That's tonight's big question.
Continue sending us your comments to our SMS number 8040, and we'll be sure to sample your these comments at the end of this live newscast. Remember to begin with either a yes or a no.
Well, just ahead on KTN Prime.
Parliament has approved nominees of the Land Commission. Will they oversee crucial land reforms in the country?
Might get the job done, but now there's a way to add sparkle and fun with new Nuru multi-purpose soap, because Nuru does something no other bar can do. Let the sunshine, let the sunshine. The white bar with glycerine that's gentle on your skin. Sunshine, the blue bar that deals with any stain. The yellow bar with lemon scent that washes pots and pans. The green bar that sends germs down the drain. Only longer lasting Nuru can make everything shine. Oh, let the sunshine in with Nuru multi-purpose soap.
32 million shillings worth of cash and other Olympic branded prizes to be won with Coca-Cola Chota Chapa. Buy 300 or 500 ml glass bottle Coke, Fanta, Sprite, Stoney or Crest Bitter Lemon and look under the crown for your prize. For cash prize, SMS the unique code under the crown to 5054. Hurry, there's 32 million shillings in cash to be won with Coca-Cola Chota Chapa. See press and posters for details. Terms and conditions apply. Coca-Cola, worldwide partner of the 2012 London Olympic Games.
Oh, my angel! It's been so long since I've heard you sing.
Oh, she can't. She's got a cold again.
Well, I'm sure you're taking proper care of her hygiene.
Yes, I use antiseptic liquid in her bath water.
Oh, that's smart. But germs are also getting smarter, and your protection is still the same.
So what's better?
This.
Lifebuoy?
Advanced Lifebuoy. While bathing, it gives better germ protection than antiseptic liquid. 10 infection-causing germs, 1 advanced protection. Lifebuoy.
African dishes in association with Golden Fry.
Fish fingers. Ingredients: half a kilogram fish fillet, 1 cup all-purpose flour, 2 eggs beaten, 3 cloves of garlic crushed, 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs, salt and pepper to taste, golden fry oil for frying. Directions: preheat the golden fry oil in a deep frying pan. Cut the fish into finger-shaped pieces. In a mixing bowl, combine the all-purpose flour with salt and pepper. In another mixing bowl, mix the beaten egg and crushed garlic. In a Ziploc bag, pour pour in the breadcrumbs. Dip the fish fingers in the flour mixture and coat evenly all round. Then into the beaten egg mixture, letting excess egg drip off. Finally, put the fish fingers into the breadcrumbs, lock the bag and shake to evenly coat the fish fingers. Fry the fish fingers in batches in the already hot oil for 2 to 3 minutes or until golden brown. Remove and drain on a paper towel. Serve with lemon halves and tartar sauce.
Golden Fry. Fries more, lasts longer.
The new look Vienna Ice Lemon Twist ready to drink vodka mixed to precision for modern drinking. Now available. Enjoy responsibly. From the home of quality. Truly Kenyan.
Welcome back. Parliament has approved nominees to the National Land Commission, which will oversee crucial land reforms in the country. The MPs voted in favour of the 9 proposed commissioners, whose names will now be submitted to President Kibaki for appointment.
The 9 include Mohammed Swazuri, who will serve as the Commission's chairperson. Others are Tamik Mboya, Silas Morevi, Rose Musyoka, Samuel Tororei, Abigail Bagaya, Emma Modhoni, Clement Lenachuru, and Abdul Kadir Khalif.
The names were presented to the House by the Lands and Natural Resources Committee, which has been vetting all proposed candidates.
Children between the ages of 13 and 15 are the most vulnerable to sexual abuse. Now, this is according to a report released by the Cradle, a children's rights non-governmental organization.
The report also discloses that girls are more exposed to abuse compared to boys who do not face other forms of abuse such as early marriage and female genital mutilation. For more details on these, here's Betty Kialo.
According to the report, defilement continues to top the list on child abuse at 76%. Incest and indecent acts with children ranks second on the list at 6%. Early marriage at 4%, while child trafficking is at 3%. The statistics also indicate that 81% of survivors were girls.
From the survivors that we dealt with, the list was a 1-year-old child who was sexually violated, and her uterus had to be removed to save her life. So which is a clear indication that the child will never get children when they grow up.
While most children are still targeted through luring, use of force and violence, the report indicates that new ways have been devised to victimize children. It was observed that there is an increase in drugging of the victims. Some learning institutions, daycares and children homes have also been named as places where abuse often takes place. Interesting statistics reveal that most perpetrators of sexual violence are in the youth bracket of 16 to 20 years. In 86% of the cases, perpetrators were known to the children, while only 7% were strangers. Fathers top the list of relatives. Police officers, teachers and managers of children homes were a major concern.
If you're looking at children, boys who have been sodomized at 19% and who are actually coming out to report these matters, then it means either the cases of sexual violence against the boy child have increased tremendously, or really they are now more accepting and they're reporting these cases.
The major challenge in containing the cases remains reporting. Very rarely are abuse cases successfully investigated and criminals prosecuted.
Wale watoto wamekuwa wanadhulumiwa labda na wale watu wasio na nia nzuri, wakiwa majirani wanawadhulumu kimapenzi, lazima sasa wajue sheria imewekwa na wataweza kuchukuliwa hatua.
It was also noted that corruption in institutions dealing directly with child abuse cases remain an issue. For KTN Prime, I'm Betty Kialo.
3 people have died after drinking illicit brew in Keyo district. 2 others have been admitted at the Moi Referral and the Iten district hospitals. It is not clear how many were affected by the brew, as more victims are being brought to the hospitals with similar symptoms. Police raided the bar where the victims allegedly bought the drink, but the operators were not there. No arrests have been made so far, but police say they are following crucial leads. The incident comes just days after 12 people died in Beira South District after consuming the illicit brew.
Mandera West Member of Parliament Mohammed Mahmood and former Mandera West MP Mohammed Abdi have called for dialogue between elders from Gare and Dagoida clans following a new round of clashes over pasture and border demarcations. Speaking at a news conference in Nairobi, the 2 leaders appealed for calm among the 2 communities and asked the government to beef up security in the area.
Let us engage in peace efforts we did before, and avoid bringing terminologies like blaming TFG, blaming the government of Kenya, blaming the Ethiopian government, blaming what you call terminology, bringing the terminology like Ghana Defense Forces. These are new to us. We would like to deal with issues the way they are.
We want to appeal to our government to provide us with enough security to stop the Ethiopians, for example, from attacking us, ourselves from crossing the border and attacking Ethiopia, and fighting within ourselves.
There are some sectors we got away with a lot of resource allocation through tantrums, being very vocal, making so much noise, until almost becoming a nuisance, until the other people say, give them what they want. We are now saying those days are gone. First of all, why are you campaigning so much for the funding of your ministry? Who tells you you'll be the peers the next year?
Watch Kenya's leading comedians.
Sasa, hii unaita convertible shirt ama unaita open air shirt?
Rip crackers.
I'm not talking about a full bathroom door here. I'm talking about a bathroom door yenye inaanzia hapa na inaishia hapa. At no particular time unaweza jidanganya uoge hivi leo. Hakuna.
Loads of laughter, loads of entertainment.
Sukari inakuliwa na watu? Can I name them? Will you be there for me? Sukari inakuliwa na watu 2 Kenya. Sugar mummies na sugar daddies.
KTN Crazy Comedy Show coming soon.
What's the medicine for? There's some of it that's just for the pain. The rest is for the resultant flatulence.
Flatulence, that is...
Shitairu badly.
This black forest is not like the ones you find in big restaurants.
And they gave me this one instead.
But it comes with free soap if you pay an extra 20 bob.
You're kidding me.
Then what's your problem?
We are dancers.
You are?
We are. Wait, you think we want these things for fun? Excuse us. Yeah, just one moment.
From downtown to upcountry, from hard at work to hard at work.
The MP300 hardbody boasts a tough engine and uncomplicated design. With the TD27 2.7-liter diesel engine, the MP300 has a host of performance and design upgrades, as well as has been proven to be tough, reliable, and durable workhorse in its class. The MP300 Hichoki is the ideal business choice and offers exceptional return on investment. So, whether you're self-employed, a sole trader typically working in remote locations or construction sites, or whether you do landscaping projects or agriculture, the MP300 hard body is the pickup for you.
nani kama Nisa?
That's right. Yeah, I wanna see it. I want all of you tonight. They playing, that's my song. That's my song. And my drinks, I've been waiting. Let's go now. Let's go now. Let's go. All the rockets in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time.
Do Milk.
Well, a very good evening to you and welcome to your home of business. My name is Boni Tunya. Now, Treasury has directed all government ministries and departments to prioritize their spending and stop asking for additional funding from the Exchequer. Finance Minister Robinson Girai has also ordered players in the various economic sectors to ensure that at least 30% of their overall resources envelope are directed towards development projects. Girai was speaking during the official launch of the 2013-2016 medium-term expenditure framework MTEF budget making process in Nairobi. Philip Kitani with the details.
The minister insisted that it was no longer suitable to fund the country's development programs through borrowing and donor support. Githai told sector players to avoid allocating resources to wasteful and non-reproductive expenditure, adding that the government will continue with its policy of further curtailing such expenditure to ensure value for the taxpayer.
In the previous past, there are some sectors who got away with a lot of resource allocation through tantrums, being very vocal, making so much noise.
According to the minister, during the finalization of the 2012-2013 budget, Treasury received requests of additional funding in excess of 5 billion shillings, representing 30% of the overall budget, a reflection of poor planning of the part of the ministries and lack of acknowledgement of the little that the government can afford.
These challenges, unless deliberately addressed, will impact negatively on our economy and growth prospects envisaged in the Vision 2030.
Githai also raised concern over the growing recurrent expenditure and singled out the rapidly expanding public sector wage bill as the key driver. This, he said, will soon be sorted out by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, currently working on modalities to harmonize salaries for public officers. Philip Keitan for KTN Business Today.
Let's now move over to banking now. In a statement to newsrooms today, Barclays Bank PLC says it is in talks to combine its African operations, that of majority-owned subsidiary ABSA Group, that the bank expects to complete this merger in 2013 if all regulatory approvals are granted. The proposal will see Barclays combining its interest in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Botswana, Ghana, Zambia and the Indian Ocean with ABSA and remaining as a majority shareholder of the combined African operations. However, the efforts will be subject to each country's regulatory mechanisms. Now, in the statement, the bank added the efforts to combine the African operations began 7 years ago. Barclays Bank subsidiary in Kenya and Botswana are listed with the country's respective securities exchanges. Now, the Nairobi City Council has for the second time extended its deadline on rates waiver. Speaking to journalists, City Mayor George Aladwa said the new deadline of August 30th will not be extended any further. The decision, Aladwa added, was reached after consultations between the council and the line ministries.
My office has carried out wide consultations with the Minister for Local Government, the Town Clerk of Nairobi, and members of the council. I announced an extension by 7 working days that will end on 30th August 2012. It is important to note that this is the final extension permitted by the law. This extension is a response to public anxiety and a sense of despair among the following property owners who have requested for more time to make good of their debts. The first people who have been given a new lease of life are owners of sectional properties apartments, and gated communities.
Francis Wangusi, George Omo, and IT consultant Stephen Kiptines are the three individuals shortlisted to fill the position of the Communications Commission of Kenya Director General. The three were picked from a long list of 6 names presented to the board by the consultancy firm charged with headhunting for the communications regulator boss. The position of Director General fell vacant after a court ruled as irregular the reappointment of Charles Joroge by the Information Minister Simon Pugisho in August of 2011. Wangusi, a top contender for the position, has been serving as a Director General in acting capacity. All eyes now shift to the Information Minister to make his selection. Whoever the minister picks for the post already has his job cut out for him, carrying out CCK's planned switch-off of counterfeit phones in the Kenyan market, the never-ending mobile termination rate squabbles, as well as ushering the country into digital migration. Technology firm Apple's stock rose to a new high on Monday, making it the most valuable public listed company in history when Apple shares reached $663.23 a share. It broke Microsoft's record set in 1999. Now, at the height of the dot-com bubble, that puts Apple's market value at $622 billion, as it is a stunning achievement indeed, considering the company was worth less than $10 billion as recently as 2004. Now, with the help of iPhone and the iPad, the Apple is on pace to be the world's largest technology company in terms of sales by the end of the year. And with rumors of a larger, faster iPhone, a smaller iPad, and an Apple TV update, the company's growth shows no signs of slowing down. Now, time to look at how your money is doing at the Securities Exchange. And the shilling still far from the target of moon rating it at 83.50, as it bought at 83.88 and sold at 84.06 against the dollar. Now, against the sterling pound, the shilling bought at 131.83 and was selling at 132.18, while against the euro, the shilling was bought at 103.61 and sold at 103.88. Here are some other figures from the NSE. Well, and that's your business. My name is Boni Tunya. Do have a lovely night.
Don't ask me why. I'm the correct guy.
I have something for you.
As we discussed.
Yes. 300.
Ah.
I am glad for you. Take it or leave it. I really don't care.
Oh, I know you don't care. That's why I'm getting back together with Sarah.
What?
The one person who does care.
Please, wait, Sam. Let me see him first. Do you see that pram over there? He is in there, safe and sound.
Switch to U Mobile and call other networks at just 3 shillings and call U to U for free all day and night.
it's time now we look at KTN Sports Today. I am Nicholas Mudimba. President Mwai Kibaki has ordered the Ministry of Sports to move with speed and establish the reasons why Kenya performed below expectations at the 30th Olympic Games in London earlier this month. The president, who spoke at CISAS in Nairobi, also asked sport federations to be accountable in their actions.
11